Well, good Saturday morning, everyone, and greetings once again from Radio Wasteland Records here in Midland. I do believe that I've got this set up. I'm still getting used to this, I'm sorry to say. So hopefully you guys are seeing and or hearing this because we got a lot of new equipment we're working on. Hey, Saturday morning, 1 week after Record Store Day, Black Friday, and Small Business Saturday, and Thanksgiving, of course. Hopefully you guys had a great Thanksgiving with friends and family. Or if you had to work, well, I hope you had at least had a good time doing that and you had some turkey at the very least. I wanted to pass along a huge thank you to everyone who stopped out on Record Store Day, Black Friday, and Small Business Saturday. Big couple of days here at the store. And hope you got what you were looking for. But now we are really kind of headed into the home stretch as far as Christmas stuff goes and Christmas shopping. Let's see here. Oh, well, let's say hi to everybody here in just a second or two. So that means I think we're on. But yeah, it was a fun couple of days here. I always enjoy the Record Store Day, Black Friday stuff, the Record Store Day stuff in general, by the way. And big thank you also to the crew, the folks that come out to help, Abby and Nick and Chuck and Kim as well. But a big special thanks as well for this past one for my kids who were here, Katie and Jimmy, both on the Wednesday preview show that we did, the live one coming up on that, as well as Jimmy and his fiance, Molly, helping out on Black Friday and Small Business Saturday. So big thank you to everyone who did stop out for that. Now, we also held a drawing. Let me see if I can call this up correctly. We held a drawing for a spin clean over the weekend. And actually, let's say here a quick congratulations to, that is Brian P., who was the winner of our spin clean. We held that drawing, so big thanks for Brian P. and stopping out and putting his name in. And thanks to everybody who did that as well. And we'll do some more contests like that down the line. But that was kind of a fun one that we did get out there as well. Okay, let's see here. A bunch of stuff to talk about, but let's say some hellos quickly this morning. If I can get the chat called up here, and let's see who we got going on. Let's see, Fred from Grand Rapids stopping in virtually to say hi. Good morning, Fred. Betty from Toledo saying hey, as does Chuck saying good morning. Dan, good snowy morning. Yeah, I forgot to talk about that. Normally I give that weather thing out. It is a little snowy right now. We got some, not as much as the folks up north got. Holy cow, the Gaylord area really got pounded, and up in the UP. They got a lot of it up there too, but well, it's beginning to look a lot like winter here. We got that. So Pat saying good morning. Frozen Upper East Side, as well as Gary and the crew at Doogie's Hats. Good morning to you. Paul Stevens saying good morning. Thank you for being here as well. Mike, good morning to you. Steve Carlson, our good friend from the vinyl community, is checking in from Breckenridge, Colorado today. We'll talk about Steve here in just a second or two because the podcast goes on. Lots of powder in Breckenridge. TKR, TC, good morning to you. Thank you for being here. Hey, I think this chat thing's working. You guys can kind of see this now. Just the YouTube chat, though. If you're on Facebook, you got to head over to YouTube. Sorry about that. Robert Mitchell, hi from Australia, down under. Thank you for being here, sir, and watching. And speaking of the Katie Bug herself, Katie, good morning to you. I got your text, kiddo. We'll look for that record for you. And Blade, that I believe is Ryan, saying hey, good morning to you, sir, and thank you so much for being here. And we're going to cut that back out. Speaking of the podcast, let's see here. Our good friend Steve Carlson. We mentioned the Two Guys Talking About Records podcast. We put that up every Sunday on Spotify, Amazon, Apple Podcasts, and our YouTube channel. Just about anywhere you can get a podcast. Steve is, I think he's on vacay from in Breckenridge this week, but we still are going to record a podcast tomorrow. And I believe tomorrow we are going to be talking on the podcast about the Rhino Start Your Ear Off Right campaign. And I'll mention a little bit of this on our upcoming release video later on this afternoon. But Steve and I will do a deeper dive into this year's Rhino stuff that's coming out starting in January. I got some thoughts on it because, man, there is a lot of that going on here. But yeah, you can catch all of that on the podcast, Two Guys Talking About Records. Steve and I will dive into that tomorrow evening about 7 o'clock. That podcast uploads to just about everywhere you can think about it uploading. So we'll get that out for you as well. Okay, A few things to cover this week, new release-wise. If you were paying attention to some of our socials, we had another late shipment. I think that's going to be the norm this time of year. Stuff showing up. We got our stuff on Friday. That was the bulk of our new vinyl on Friday. Had a few things, but we just couldn't include that in the drop video for Friday. But I'll go over a few of them here. A lot of stuff moving back and forth, so just try to pay attention to our socials on Twitter, X, and let's see. From there, we'll go onward. So some of the big things from yesterday, we did get some restocks of the Cure album, not the indie exclusive. This brand new one from the Cure called Songs of a Lost World is a hot record. Been back ordered for a while. I've got 2 copies of this left in stock for the weekend. I'll try to get more. Again, just the black vinyl copy. We're trying to get more indie exclusives, but I don't know if that's going to happen. New release-ish from yesterday, the Rolling Stones, a live one. Welcome to Shepherd's Bush. They did a huge concert. I think it was in London. And just before the show, a couple days before, they did a very small intimate venue. This is the recording from that intimate venue in 1999. So they did some deep cuts on this one. Very cool stuff, but a little pricey, coming in at $45. Double Press, new compilation from Stevie Wonder, the Definitive Collection, 21 classic hits on double LPs. Black vinyl version of this. It's kind of cool. There's an embossing down here. There's a Braille embossing on the front of the album from Stevie Wonder. Very neat Motown stuff. Rare Vintage Vixen. Got 1 copy of this on red vinyl. More coming. There was a red marbled, but we didn't get enough of those. I have a couple pre-orders on that. But this is interesting. It's not the Vixen album. It's just a collection of other stuff that didn't get on their albums. Earlier stuff, live stuff, stuff from movies that these guys were in. I've got a history with Vixen. We'll talk about that sometime on the podcast. I think I may have already. Also in the drop yesterday and late coming yesterday was a lot of Christmas music. I put in for this, hopefully to get that in the drop, but we're going to get some more Christmas albums out to you guys beginning now. Sorry, I need another haircut, I think. I broke the one I just got. But yeah, a lot of Christmas stuff coming out and some cool stuff, some old favorites. But let's start with this one. This is an interesting one. It was a new release from the other day. Let's see here. The Jethro Tull Christmas album, Fresh Snow at Christmas. This was released a while ago, but this is either the first time on vinyl, 2003 festive album, no, newly remixed. Oh no, it says available on vinyl for the very first time. Remixed from the original master tapes by Bruce Seward from the Pineapple Thief. Jethro Tull Christmas album. I'll just leave it there. Double LP. Looks like a lot of traditional ones, but obviously with some Jethro Tullness added to it. One on here called Green Sleeved, First Snow in Brooklyn. We Five Kings, a Winter Snowscape. For you Tull fans, that may be a good go-to. Got a couple copies of that. Old favorites. 2 different versions of the Vince Guaraldi trio doing the Charlie Brown Christmas. One on green vinyl and the RSD Essential from a year or 2 back on Snowstorm vinyl. So a couple of very cool variations of that. Old favorites from Burl Ives as well. Rudolph, we got to reissue that in. Ella wishes you a very swinging Christmas, an Ella Fitzgerald Christmas album. And because we're cool, we got a Christmas Frank Sinatra album. There's also a lot, by the way. All of our vintage vinyl Christmas is back there, so you guys can dig into that as need be. And there may be some other cool stuff not there. Maybe there is. So Christmas with Frank Sinatra, a couple of copies of that, and a couple copies of a new pressing of Elvis compilation, the Classic Christmas album. So lots of cool stuff from Elvis in there. We got A Nightmare Before Christmas, the picture discs, a couple of these rather on the shelf, double LP picture disc of the Danny Elfman film. And speaking of Nightmares Before Christmas, we still have the Mariah Carey. And if you watch, okay, I'll be careful here. The Mariah Carey is this Christmas staple. I know a lot of people make fun of it for their. Watch our new release show later on this afternoon. There is a couple of reissues of this coming out. I'll just leave it at that. They're different than this. Holy cow, they're different than this. I don't know how far you want to get into the Mariah Carey Christmas album, but you're going to get to go deep with that later on today for the new releases for next week. Vintage vinyl-wise, I put a few Christmas ones out as well. We got another copy of the Marv Herzog, some Polka Christmas, and Alpine Holiday, a pair of Polka Christmas from Frankenmuth's own. The first big rock star from Frankenmuth, well, polka star from Frankenmuth. Uh, Marv Herzog, some local flair as well, 1966 Christmas album from the Midland High School Choir. And I got a couple copies of the Bay City Central Choir, unknown year, but this is going to be late 60s, early 70s on this. They're just doing Christmas standards on those vintage vinyl sides. So some fun stuff all the way on there. Okay, let's do back to the chat for a moment or so here and see what we've got going on. Let's see. Katie says the best of the year podcast. Yep. Steve and I will work on that coming up later on. We will do our best ofs. We're going to try to figure out some cool categories for the podcast talking about that. Two hip chicks saying good morning, everyone. Thank you as well for being here. James S. greeting from Chile, Grand Rapids. Oh, this would be Mr. Savino. Hi, Rick. How are you? Finally got to join to say hi as well. So thank you again, everyone, for being here. I think I'm getting the hang of this new system. We've even got a cool new microphone here, and hopefully that sounds well. And we're caught up with all sorts of stuff. Okay, mystery bags, I want to follow up from last week. They were all gone right on that Small Business Saturday. 32 of them went out the door. I heard from a few folks who got some goodies out of the bags and gift certificates and the like. Hopefully, if you got a goodie, you were enjoying that as well. As far as the big vinyl drop from Small Business Saturday, a lot of stuff went, a lot of stuff still here, but frankly, there was just a lot of great vinyl in that. So check that out if you're stopping by. But yeah, we got a lot of big items left as well. I know the question on a lot of everybody's mind is that big item gone, meaning that Tool album. Yes, it is gone. The Tool album sold. I'm happy about that, and I think the person getting it will be very happy about that as well. So it's just a fun time. But yeah, there still is a lot of great Sabbath and a lot of great metal stuff left as well. So I think that is going to be it. I'm going to wrap us up for the morning. Turn it over to you guys. If you're venturing out today, yeah, the roads around the Midland area are going to be a little slick until they get around to... we don't have a lot of snow, just that little thin layer of slippery snow that's happening. Maybe we're going to get more. I'm trying to pay attention to the forecast, but I know, like I said, points north of here, it's being, I don't mean to chuckle, but it's a little merciless on basically from Gladwin to Gaylord north of here. They're just getting absolutely pummeled by snow over the past week or so. So, okay, I am going to leave it at that. You folks have a great weekend. Could be a good weekend to look for some cool new and vintage vinyl. So if you want to, stop on by. We are at 716 George Street, just north of downtown Midland. Open today, Saturday, from now until 6 p.m. Tomorrow, Sunday, from 12 noon until 4 p.m. Closed Monday and Tuesday. Back at her next week. Don't forget the new release show. And you're going to have more Mariah Carey Christmas than you're going to care to see on the new release show. Don't forget the podcast coming up tomorrow. Two guys talking about records with Steve Carlson from the vinyl community. The mayor of the vinyl community will get into that and talk about the Start Your Ear Off Right stuff as well. All right, you folks have a great weekend. And as always, thank you so much for being here. And we will talk to you next time from Radio Wasteland Records. Thanks again, everybody. If I can find the right button.